Welcome to our series on stumbling blocks and stepping stones, psychological stumbling blocks and some spiritual stepping stones that help us get over these obstacles in the course of our lives. My name is Father Benedict Groeschel, and as you can see from the way I'm dressed, I belong to the Franciscan order, and in fact to a branch of the order called the Capuchins, which began around the time of the Reformation. But we go back to St. Francis of Assisi. I don't look much like it under this disguise, but I'm actually a psychologist. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't want to be a psychologist. I wanted to be a priest to work with the poor, which is primarily what the Capuchins do. But you know, God has a sense of humor, and so sort of by accident, having worked for many years with delinquent boys, I became a pastoral counselor at Iona College and finally a psychologist at Columbia University in New York City. And I work in the city now primarily with clergy, not only Catholic clergy and religious, but also Protestant clergy, and occasionally even some Jewish clergy, and occasionally some Eastern Orthodox clergy. And I've worked over the years with a great many people with psychological problems, particularly people who were interested in looking for God, in leading the Christian life. And so I decided I'd put a little series together for this network on psychological problems and spiritual answers. It's an important thing to realize that even a good Christian, even a person trying to lead a good Christian life, is likely to have some psychological problems. They show up in the Gospels. Problems that we're going to discuss on this series. Peter says to Christ, "Lord, I believe, help my unbelief." We have all over the Gospel people who have problems with sin. And in St. John's first epistle, there is clearly a statement that it says if we say we have no sin, we are lying. And so in this series, I'm going to take up some problems that I hope are of interest to you. Things like doubt, unbelief, sin, temptation. We're going to take up problems like self-hate, self-love, animosity, envy, the whole list of things. In fact, the only thing that I'm not going to discuss in any great length are sexual problems. Perhaps someday I'll come back and do another series on those. That's a special subject, and in fact, I did a book on that subject called The Courage to be Chaste. But in this series, I'm going to spend my time working primarily on problems that you, your family, those dear to you, may run into. Now, I'm not going to do this primarily as a psychologist. You know, there's a great many religious programs, some of them quite helpful, in which people discuss psychological problems and relate them to the gospel or to the teachings of our Lord, and try to use contemporary psychology in a Christian and religious way. I'm not going to do that. Why?